Hello everyone. Now I'm going to elaborate how to do a manual simulation. So let's say we're given with a problem. So the following inter-arrival and service times were observed in a single server, single queue system. So here is the inter-arrival time and service time in minutes. Now, we are asked to calculate the summary statistics for the time average number in queue, average system time, and with 20 minutes utilization. Okay, remember that 20 minutes. Okay. Now, first step that we're going to do here, we have to organize our data in a table with the heading for the arrival number, arrival time, begin service time, SB here, ibig sabihin service, end service time, and system time. So this is going to be listed with data here later on. Okay. Now, before we start, let's identify these events here are represented by an entity. So this could be entity 1, 2, entity 3, entity 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So meaning we also have here 8 events. Okay? Now, I have this technique that I advise you to do this first para mas madali siya. Okay? So, here I have listed the number of minutes. So, from 1 minute to 20 minutes. But this can be extended ba later on. Okay? We can add more minutes later. Okay. So, here sa 0, let's say, the system is open. So, meaning we are available for entity arrival. Okay. So, here we are going to, this is where we are going to get the values for arrival time. Okay? Ito siya. So, okay. Now, we're going to use here the given inter-arrival times. Okay, so let's start with entity 1. Okay, let's start with entity 1. Okay, yan. Now, the inter-arrival of entity 1 is 1 minute after nag-open si system. So, ano ba ibig sabihin ng inter-arrival? Okay, let's define it first. Inter-arrival is the number of minutes an entity arrived after the system has opened, or the number of minutes an entity arrived after the previous entity. Okay, so ganun. Okay, here, the inter-arrival time of entity 1 is 1 minute after nag-open si system. So, ibig sabihin, this is the arrival of entity 1. So, I'm going to write here. Circle na ko na siya. Arrival. No, I'm just going to write here entity 1. So, naabot si entity 1, 1 minute after nag-open si system. Okay, next. Punta naman tayo kay entity 2. So, naabot si entity 2 sa system 4 minutes after kay entity 1. So, this is the arrival, right, of entity 1. So, all we have to do is just count 4 minutes from here. So, 1, baka mag-wonder mo anong 4 minutes kasi ang inter-arrival na entity 2 is 4 minutes. So, we're going to count 4 minutes from here. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ibig sabihin, this is the arrival of entity 2. Okay, next naman, punta tayo kay entity 3. So, inter-arrival is 2. So, same process sa gihapon. From entity 2. Let's count 2 minutes from here. Bakit 2 minutes? Because the inter-arrival of entity 3 is 2. So, from here, 5, mukount ta og 2. So, 1, 2. So, ibig sabihin, at 7 minutes from the open time of system, naabot si entity 3. Okay. Now, let's proceed naman kay entity 4. So, entity 4, naabot siya 1 minute after the inter-arrival of entity 3. So, ano ba yung arrival time of entity 3? So, 7 minutes after na-open sa system. So, all we have to do is just count 1, kasi 1 ang inter-arrival ni 4. So, 1 minute, 7, 8. So, ibig sabihin, pagka 8 minutes nag-open ang system, naabot si entity 4. Now, punta tayo kay entity 5. Okay. So, we are going to... So, here, the inter-arrival of entity 5 is 8. So, let's count 8 from here. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, after 16 minutes, nga nag-open ang system, naabot si entity 5. Okay. Now, punta naman tayo kay entity 6. So, ang inter-arrival na entity 6 is 2. So, we have to count 2 from here. So, 1, 2. Therefore, after 18 minutes nga nag-open ang system na po si entity 6. Okay, how about si entity 7? The inter-arrival of entity 7 is 4. Anong blurred man eh. Okay. Entity 7 is, ang inter-arrival niya is 4. So, we have to count 4 minutes from here. From the arrival of entity 6. So, let's add muna some minutes. Okay. So, let's count 4 minutes from here. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, this is the arrival of entity 7. 22 minutes after nag-open ang system. How about ang last entity na to? 8. Inter-arrival or is 3. So, let's count 3 from here. So, 1, 2, 3. So, this is the arrival of entity 8. 25 minutes after nag-open ang system. Okay. So, we already have this one. Ibig sabihin, nakuha na natin yung arrival time per entity. So, set aside muna natin to and let's focus sa table natin.